There's a single way that all your favorite celebrities and fitness influencers get their beautiful 4, 6, and 8-pack abs, and I'll be telling you exactly how to do it yourself in this video. And no, it's not those 5-minute ab blaster workouts you see all over YouTube and Instagram. Those do not work, and they're just there so fitness influencers can make a quick buck while showing off their abs. So if you want to get abs as quickly as possible, there's 2 things you're going to have to do. Track your nutrition and train your abs the smart way. Let me explain that second point first. The primary way to get visible abs is for you to get your body fat percentage low enough that they can actually be seen through your skin and whatever fat is remaining. And a low body fat percentage is achieved primarily through tracking your nutrition and increasing your activity. But you can make things a little bit easier on yourself by actually training your abs properly. When you train your abs properly for muscle growth, they'll respond like any other muscle group by becoming larger and thicker. This will make them pop and become visible at slightly higher body fat percentages. An important note here is that you can't reduce fat on a certain part of your body by exercising that part of your body. When you lose fat, you lose it relatively evenly across your entire body, with fat loss typically becoming noticeable first on the arms, legs, shoulders, and back, and then usually coming off of the midsection last. So that means you can do all the crunches that you want, but if you don't focus on getting your overall body fat percentage lower, you'll never see your abs. But while focusing on lowering your body fat percentage, how should we train abs to get them to pop? Well, you train them just like you would any other muscle group. Train them 1 to 3 times a week while increasing the amount of weight and sets you're doing over time. And make sure you're training hard so that you only have 1 to 2 good reps left in the tank at each and every set. Abs respond best to sets in the 8 to 12 rep range, and you'll want to use movements where you can perform a full range of motion, meaning you'll have a full crunch of the abs at the bottom of the movement and a full stretch at the top. In terms of what movements are best for growing abs, you want to go with any exercise that you can perform the reps under full control, and exercises where you can easily add weight over time. The ab crunch machine is actually the perfect option if you have access to one. But if you're training at home, or if you don't have access to that machine, reaching sit-up works great. Just make sure to move slowly and with control. So if you really want to grow your abs big and thick, you'll want to do at least 16 sets of ab exercises each week. But you actually don't need to train your abs directly at all to get some amount of growth, because abs get a decent stimulus to grow just from the indirect work that they get from heavy compound movements, like squats, pull-ups, and deadlifts. Like I said, the thing that's really important for getting visible abs is lowering your body fat percentage. So if you want to get abs as fast as possible without just getting skinny and losing all the rest of your muscle mass, you're going to want to track your nutrition. Tracking your nutrition is key because to lose fat, we need to be eating less calories each day than we burn. And this is called eating in a calorie deficit. But we can't eat in too big of a calorie deficit because it will lead to muscle loss, insane cravings, and for most people, a huge rebound in weight once the diet period is over. So by tracking our nutrition, we make sure that we're eating in an appropriately sized calorie deficit while eating enough of the right macronutrients like fat, carbs, and proteins so we don't lose lean muscle mass and we don't drop our testosterone levels. And testosterone, of course, is very important for losing fat and building muscle, and I think that's what we're all here to do. There are 3 different levels of tracking that I use with my personal training clients, depending on how much time they want to spend tracking and how accurate their tracking needs to be to get them to their goals. So the more extreme the goal, the more accurate the tracking method will need to be. Level 1 is the easiest but least accurate method of tracking. Level 2 is pretty accurate but will only get you so far. And level 3 is the most work but is the fastest way to get shredded without losing muscle mass. So let's break them down starting from level 1. Level 1 is the simplest way for people to start tracking what they're eating. This level works great if you're newer to working out or have a good amount of weight that you need to lose and aren't already pretty lean. You're simply going to be mentally tracking all your food groups and eating intuitively. What do I mean by this? All you're going to do is make sure that at each meal you have all your bases covered. So for each meal, you should have a healthy fat, starchy carb, lean protein, and vegetable source. You want all these sources to come from whole foods as often as possible. So try to minimize things that come out of a box or that are processed. Then for each of these meals, you're simply going to eat until you're full but not stuffed. And the trick to not overeating, especially at the end of the day, is to make sure that you're not overly hungry throughout the day. So that means you should try to have at least 3 full meals throughout the day. Most people go all day without eating and then binge at night or on the weekends because they can no longer control their cravings and their hunger. Stay ahead of the curve by never letting yourself get too hungry. Just by following the steps in level 1 tracking, most people will start to lose weight. But if you're someone on top of your diet already, you'll need a bit more structure to continue progressing. So we're on to level 2, hand portion tracking. But what's the point of getting lean and jacked if you don't have the perfect gym outfit to show it off? And that's where my partnership with SuperX comes in. SuperX makes the world's most badass gym apparel. Think about it like Lululemon meets Marvel. They've got hundreds of thousands of customers and thousands of 5-star reviews from across the globe. All their products are insanely high quality with super stretch fabrics so you can suit up and crush your workouts in style. I've been working out in my SuperX gear for a few months now, And not only is it super comfortable, but thanks to its form-fitting design, it makes me look 100% more jacked, which does wonders for keeping me motivated and consistent in the gym. So by this point you're sold and you want to outfit of your own. Well, I've got your back. Just go to www.superx.co and use code DEMERCE for 20% off your first order. It's a great way to support the channel while getting some world-class workout apparel. Now back to the video. Okay, so level 2 is hand portion tracking. And with this level, we're actually going to start roughly tracking our macronutrients and calories. If you're already eating decent stuff, but you're not seeing the results that you want, you have to start tracking how much you're eating. I get a ton of people sliding into my DMs on Instagram asking me why they aren't losing weight or building muscle. And when I ask how many calories they're eating each day and what their macro split looks like, they have no idea. So this is going to help you guys out a lot. By the way, you guys should add me on Instagram. I love hearing from you guys. So what doesn't get measured doesn't get managed, and managing your nutrition is key to taking your physique to the next level. I can promise when you actually start tracking your macros and calories, you'll start seeing results way faster than before when you weren't. So that's where level 2 comes in with hand portion tracking. Hand portion tracking is a method of macro and calorie tracking where you simply measure your portion sizes relative to different parts of your hand. Protein is measured in palms, veggies in fists, carbs in cupped hands, and fats in thumbs. By measuring your portions relative to your hand size, you'll be able to start getting a better idea of how much you have to eat each day to reach your goals. While this form of tracking is less accurate than our third level that's coming up, it has a few big advantages over more conventional forms of calorie tracking that use scales and measuring cups. For one, your hands are portable. They'll always be with you whether you're at the office, at lunch, or on vacation. And hands scale with the individual. Bigger people need more food and tend to have bigger hands, therefore they get larger portion sizes. Smaller people need less food and tend to have smaller hands, so they end up getting smaller portion sizes. And the last one is that hand portion tracking is just a faster and less annoying way to keep track of your daily calorie and macro intake. I'll leave a link down below to a calorie calculator that'll help you figure out what your hand portion should be each day to reach your goals. Now on to the third level of tracking. Level 3 tracking is for those who have already mastered the basics of healthy eating and want to invest more time to really take the results to new heights. For level 3, you're going to be tracking all of your calories and macros by using an app like MyFitnessPal and measuring all your food using scales, measuring cups, or by scanning the barcode using the app. This system works incredibly well and is the fastest way to reach your goals because you can micromanage exactly what goes into your body. This is important, especially when losing weight, because you want to keep your protein intake quite high while in a calorie deficit to prevent a high amount of muscle mass being lost. But the downside with level 3 is it's the most time-consuming way of tracking, and it's the most restrictive, since it makes eating out and cooking dishes a lot more difficult because those things are difficult to track. But if you want to get abs as fast as possible, this is definitely the way to go. You can use the same calorie calculator I talked about before to find out how many calories and what amount of the big 3 macros you should be eating each day to reach your goals. So because of the added inconvenience with level 3, I would say most of you guys should start with hand portion tracking and then go from there. If you find that you need a little bit more accuracy to get your goals, then move on to level 3 and see how it works for you. So that covers how you should train your abs to make them pop out and how you should track your nutrition to make sure that you're losing body fat. But what kind of training program should you follow while you're on the road to getting shredded? Well, one of the best is actually the type that many celebrities like Stephen Amell and Ryan Reynolds follow, just because of how efficient it is at getting you lean for the amount of time invested. So go check out my video on Stephen Amell to get you a free program that will beautifully complement what you learned in this video. I'll see you guys there.